And joining us for our player profile this week on This Week in the USHL, the netminder from the Fargo Force, Ryan Massa.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, Ryan, just to get the update statistically, 14-5-3, and a second-place ranking in the USHL with a 2.09 goals against, and one of 10 goaltenders who recorded a shutout during this past week of play in the league. So I guess it was a very good week to be a netminder. All the stars were in line to stop the pucks this week around the league.
Yeah, anytime you see a zero on the scoreboard at the end of a night, it certainly is great. And, it just shows we got a great team here in Fargo. And, all my guys, played great in front of me. And, we're just really looking forward to wrapping up the regular season and really getting amped up for a successful playoff run.
Well, you had 28 saves, a tight 1-2-0 victory over Tri-City on Saturday. And currently, your Fargo Force club is third in the Western Conference, 25-16-4 overall, but only 3 points out of first place. You're only 1 point behind for second and 3 out of first. And just to talk about the level of competition, we've been following the league obviously very closely and the releases with results from week to week. That Western Conference is just outstanding in terms of the competition, particularly the competition there as you try to battle for one of those top spots. I mean, that's something I'm sure that gets your attention night in and night out.
Oh, absolutely. And ever since I can remember following the USHL, well before I was a player in the league, I've never seen the Western Conference this tight. This year especially, the talent on every team is outstanding. The depth from the crease out on every team is truly phenomenal. And every night, being able to go to battle with these teams, it's truly a great test, and it certainly is a lot of fun. Knowing every night it's going to be a great game, and both teams are you play well, and you certainly have to respect your opponent every night.
Well, growing up in Littleton, Colorado, you mentioned about following the USHL, and just to talk a little bit about that and your earlier development as a player, as a goaltender, and what the USHL and the opportunity has meant to you, and why Fargo, and what were some of the things that went into your earlier development and exposure in terms of where you played on the way up toward the USHL ranks.
I pursued midget hockey growing up in Littleton. I played all my years of eligibility until I was an 18-year-old. I played my midget hockey with the Colorado Rampage, and we were a part of the Midwest Elite Hockey League, and we played almost every other weekend in Detroit, Chicago, very well-populated hockey hotbeds, and it really drew in a fair amount of scouts from the Division I ranks and certainly the USHL. And, I knew at that time, in order for me to further my career into the USHL, I had to play well in front of some of these coaches and scouts. And, fortunately I did. And, the USHL is certainly not an easy league to get into. To say the least. It's extremely competitive, and it was something I wanted, and I got a taste of it getting pulled up from midgets to be an emergency backup for the Lincoln Stars for a short period of time when Kevin Murdoch was struck with mono, and I got to see firsthand the inner workings of a USHL team, and I loved it. I had a lot of fun when I was in Lincoln, and I really treasured that experience, and knew that's what I wanted where I wanted to be, and I wanted to play in this league. And unfortunately, things didn't work out for me with Lincoln, and I ended up starting my season last year in the North American Hockey League with the Bismarck Bobcats, and just started plugging away there, and showed up for practice, and learned I was traded to Fargo, and the chance for me to get into the league as a 19-year-old, I was very thankful for the opportunity and knew how to make the most of it. And Fortunately for us, we made it all the way to the Clark Cup last year, and the talent and the competitive nature of the league truly makes phenomenal players, and the numbers don't lie as far as the amount of graduates from the USHL to Division I level and the NHL level is astounding, and I'm very thankful I've had the opportunity to play in this league, and I certainly have fun every night, playing in every game. I absolutely love it.
And a great winning tradition established, Ryan, in Fargo in a very short time. And it's amazing to look and see that just the third season for the Fargo Force organization, and made the Clark Finals in each of their first 2 seasons. That's pretty amazing. You talked about last year. Excuse me?
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Yeah, and you talked about last year. That Clark Cup final series was a tremendous series, and not only did you post a shutout in Game 1, but you scored a goal in Game 2, and that's a rare. Some goalies can play an awful long time and not come close to scoring one, but you got one.
Yeah, it's something I've always dreamed of since being a youngster. That's for sure, and it's something I practice. Weekly with some of the guys on the team, just messing around after practice. And, I always knew that the time had to be right and everything had to be right. And, I just saw the opportunity, and it ended up going in. And, I was, pretty excited about it, and, realized that doesn't happen very often.
That's true. At any level of hockey, it doesn't happen very often. Quite an accomplishment. And are you a goaltender? You characterize yourself somebody that you like to? Do you roam a bit? Do you like to move the puck? I mean, I'm still at the voice of Boston University hockey, and I'll tell you, just to think back about 10 years ago, we had a guy named Ricky DiPietro. And, Ryan, he came in as a freshman, and I had got the scouting report, as I always do, and thoroughly about guys that we have coming into the program at BU. And I had heard that, this guy is something different, the way he handles the puck, the way he comes out. He's like a third defenseman. And it took we had a tournament out in Alaska, and I think it took about 3 minutes for me to realize that things were going to be a lot different in terms of this guy. Is that something that's part of your game? You're comfortable handling the puck? Do you like to maybe outlet a puck to a defenseman, that type of thing?
Absolutely, and actually, I'm a right-handed shooter. If I were to skate out,
okay.
Growing up, I always had a really tough time, negotiating a left-handed goalie stick.
Yeah.
And as I was growing up, I got to watch, goaltenders like Marty Turco and how he played the puck and how he played it so well and very accurate. And I watched his technique, and I slowly started, mimicking what he was doing, and I ended up, liking it. And over the years, as I got stronger, I developed a better feel with the puck, and it became more accustomed to shoot left-handed. And now, especially, I love being a third defenseman, if you will. It really helps with my defensemen behind the net. Really minimizing the amount of tips that they take behind the net, and help moving the play up the ice quickly as well, especially on catching teams on long changes and generating offense when I need to. I really think it's a good aspect of my game I want to continue to develop on, and continue to get better at as my career furthers.
Well, I'll tell you that you mentioned that, and that's a great point about the minimizing the wear and tear and the attrition level on your defenseman. And a guy that can do that successfully at your position, you'll be getting Christmas cards from your defenseman all the way through your career, I suspect.
Yeah, they tell me that all the time, and it certainly helps out, knowing that they'll lay out and block a shot for me. And,
there you go. That's right.
It's nice to reciprocate the favor.
There you go, you guys. That's what it's all. That's what teamwork's all about. Just communicate and be able to help each other. No question. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned about teammates, and not unusual. We look at these numbers week in and week out. They're gaudy. They're impressive. They jump out at you. There are 15 current members of the Force that are committed to play NCAA Division I hockey next season, and 2 of them will remain your teammates. Brian Cooper and Tanner Lane are also ticketed for the University of Nebraska-Omaha to play for Dean Blaze next season. So you'll have a couple of familiar faces in the locker room next year.
Absolutely, and I'm very excited about that. Both those guys are outstanding individuals and outstanding hockey players, and Brian and I get along extremely well, and we've got a great chemistry on the ice and off the ice. Ironically, he's a defenseman, and I'm a goalie, and both of us never miss a beat. We're together almost all the time, and he's very excited about heading to Omaha after his USHL career is over, as well as Tanner Lane, and the 3 of us, certainly have some fun in the locker room. Ganging up on some of our WCHA rival recruits, and we certainly have a lot of fun with that, and all 3 of us are very very anxious to join forces again in Omaha.
Well, unless Dean Blaze radically changes his coaching style, I suspect that he will appreciate a goaltender that can jumpstart the offense, because Dean's been known to play, you probably know, pretty up-tempo. He often has teams that are prolific offensively.
Absolutely, and he made no bones about it. Telling me his coaching philosophy and what he likes to see and what he wants and expects of his players, and certainly that the offensive mentality is very important, and it's something like I said earlier, being able to really develop and fine tune at the USHL level every game is only going to help me make that transition to the NCAA level even easier.
Well, you mentioned about the USHL experience, and the experience it varies in the different markets around the league, and the different teams and different traditions, and it's a relatively new phenomenon in Fargo, but it appears that quite dramatically the people in Fargo have warmed up to and embraced the USHL in a big way. The fact that you're averaging over 3,500 fans a game, I mean, that's got to be a pretty good feeling to know that you have that fan support, which gives you a true home ice advantage for half your schedule. You know that you're going to have some great fan support backing you guys up when you're on the ice.
Absolutely. Our fans in Fargo have been truly phenomenal. It's very exciting. Every home game, you're going to have an outstanding crowd behind you. They bring a lot of energy, a lot of fun, and the memories for me in particular. Last year during the Clark Cup, playoffs, the sellout crowds and capacity, standing room only. You can't even hear yourself think
it's great
on the ice, and they're truly outstanding, and the way they've really rallied behind the team. A young team. You were saying that it's only our 3rd year as a franchise, and for their attendance records and the support that they've shown for our club has truly been phenomenal. And I know not only myself, but the rest of my teammates we're extremely thankful for that, and we really pride ourselves on our fans.
And lastly, want to talk about the situation you're in at the position in Fargo, at the goaltending position. You've got a great competitive partner there with Zane Gothberg. He's 11-6, 2.18. So I mean, you guys, that's quite an impressive tandem. And Gothberg has already been drafted by the Boston Bruins just this past summer. And you've been in some different, as a 20-year-old goaltender, I'm sure you've been in some different situations where maybe more of the burden was on your shoulders with certain teams, and in some situations such as this, there's more of a tandem, more of a rotation mentality. What about having that competition and that push at the position? Is that something that you really thrive on, that gets you to raise the bar and go the extra mile from day to day?
Absolutely. Having Zane as my counterpart this year is truly a blessing. He's an outstanding kid, and an even more outstanding goaltender. Both of us every day are consistently pushing each other, the both of us together, we've got great chemistry, and being able to share the load in such a long season, we both feel very confident that both our bodies aren't taking the toll of playing every game or 90% of the games, and both he's getting his USHL experience, preparing him for the University of North Dakota and an outstanding WCHA Division I program, and he's a great kid, and both of us together have really thrived on that rotation mentality, as you were saying, and it's really great knowing that our team has the faith in both of us, that they don't really have to worry about who's between the pipes on a nightly basis. So it's a good relief for our team, and knowing that both of us will show up on any night we're called upon to stop the puck. We certainly enjoy getting the job done, and we have a lot of fun while we're doing it.
Well, I sense that'll be a great rivalry. I'm going to be studying those WCHA box scores next year when North Dakota, with Dean Blaze being the former coach in North Dakota, now will be your coach at Nebraska Omaha. You're playing for a North Dakota guy, Jason Herter. So I'll be paying close attention when I see Massa and Gothberg in the box scores there over the next few years. I think that'll make for some good, healthy rivalry between the two of you when you get to college.
Absolutely, and we've been talking about it this year too, and we're both really excited for it, and we're definitely looking forward to meeting up once again, wearing different sweaters, though.
Absolutely. Well, you're going to have some company with the guys that we talked about earlier, with Brian Cooper and Tanner Lane, so it's inevitable that there'll be rivalries around the league, and that sounds like that'll be a good one in the WCHA. We wish you luck with that, Ryan, and we wish you luck the rest of the way. Fargo, great tradition of getting in a position to win that Clark Cup, and we wish you the best of success and hope to be talking to you again down the road on This Week in the USHL.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for having me, and it's an honor.
Ryan Massa, our guest, the goalie for the Fargo Force from Littleton, Colorado, his second year in the USHL. And as discussed, he'll be bound for Dean Blaze and the Nebraska Omaha Mavericks a year from now.